Hey everyone, Michael Hammond here. We have another week. I hope this message finds you well. Four things I want to quickly cover with you today as we continue to try to find what is this new normal, as we continue to try to move forward. There's four main areas that have really popped up. I couldn't be more encouraged by seeing companies, individuals at companies step forward, start sharing their knowledge, their information, so that as an industry we can come together and continue to move forward. And I think one of the key things that struck me is as you listen to these individuals, whether it's a Kevin Peranio over at PRMG, you always hear they're quoting other sources, they're quoting other information. So the first point that I think is critical for any of us that want to move forward, that want to lean in and keep moving in the right direction, you've got to be committed to being a lifelong learner. That's any of the videos you're hearing, any of the podcasts you're listening to, they're quoting other articles, they're quoting TED Talks, they're quoting other discussions they've had with other individuals. We don't have to go this alone. There is a lot of great information and a lot of great resources out there, but you've got to be committed to that lifelong learning, whether that's reading books, listening to podcasts, watching videos on YouTube, gaining information on LinkedIn, having discussions with people on Zoom or GoToMeeting. Embrace that lifelong learning. Number two, what I've heard from a number of these videos and a lot of these discussions is how important automation is. Companies that weren't prepared for this, and no one was fully prepared for the pandemic. I don't mean it that way. What I'm saying is going to a fully remote workforce, companies that had more automation in place, more touch points for their customers, more ways to interact with their partners and their clients, not just through Zoom or GoToMeeting, but that could text or voiceless voicemail or text, audio, all kinds of different ways, whether it's email, all of the different multi-channel ways to get a hold of somebody and interact with them is critical. But automation is so many other steps in the mortgage process. What can we automate? How can we reduce the cost to originate? I think in this time of the pandemic, it's really forced people to look at their processes. Where do we have steps that we don't need 10 people touching that file again? And when you're forced to do it remotely, you realize very quickly, and I think it creates greater visibility to a lot of the inefficiencies that we have in the market. Number three that I want to touch upon is too many times when situations like this happen, people are either proactive or they're reactive. And the other term I'd like to throw at people is being adaptable, right? None of us saw all of this coming. So to think we can just say, oh, we're not going to, we were proactive and we had everything perfectly, that's probably not very accurate. But being adaptable, right? What is adaptable? It's being able to adjust oneself readily to different conditions. That's different than just reacting. Reacting is almost letting it hit you in the face and then, okay, you've got some sort of response. Whereas being adaptable is saying, you know what, these are very challenging times. These are different times. There is a new normal. But if we lean in, if we can be proactive, if we can adapt to this and start controlling the narrative, start leaning in and making a difference in our community, start leaning in and being adaptable to figure out how can we add automation and reduce steps and create greater efficiencies. If we can be adaptable and say, hey, where can I learn what's going on in the market? Where can I get a pulse with what's going on with the liquidity? What kind of stimulus packages are going to be out there? What are the unemployment rates? If we can be adaptable to that and still focus on what is our agenda, how are we going to move forward? How are we going to lead our company? How are we going to lead our family? How are we going to lead the communities that we live into? And then that's the perfect transition to point number four. For those of us who have our health, for those of us that have the ability, who have a job right now, I think we have an awesome responsibility to step up to the plate, especially in the mortgage industry when home financing is so critical, or when people need a roof over their head. we've got to get creative with how can we help people stay in their homes? How can we help people get into their homes? If they have the ability to make monthly rental payments, then how can we come up with programs that are going to allow them to get the down payment assistance that they need? As an industry, we are so much in a better position to help now than we were a number of years back. I challenge each and every one of you to step up this week. Let's add value to other people and let's have an amazing week. Go out there and make a difference.